Allan Hirsch Advisors, creating aha moments, presents Aha Business Podcasts. We provide opportunities to discover information to help you run your business and guide your decision making. The more you know, the better decisions you make. For more information, log on to allanhirschadvisors.com. I'm your host, Allan Hirsch. Started. Welcome to today's podcast. My guest is Nick Friedman, CEO, founder, and president of H.U.N.K.S Hauling. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. So let me start off very simply. What motivates you to get up in the morning and go to work?
Well, I never grew up thinking I wanted to be a junk hauler or owner of a moving company. I don't think any kid grows up thinking that. But, our company is always prided itself on being purpose-driven, core values-based, socially conscious, technology-enabled and disruptive, and results-obsessed. And so those aspects of our business, which we kind of made as our foundation in the early days, is what continues to get me out of bed in the morning as an entrepreneur, because the fact is we're making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, of our franchise owners around the country, of our customers who need the service. And so it's fulfilling for me to see the progress and the impact and the positive things that come out of having a business that's ultimately become a platform. And so that's what continues to get my juices going and continues to get me excited and pumped up as an entrepreneur.
Well, that's great. So how did you get started doing this junk hauling?
Yeah, so I was in college. I was brought up to follow the more traditional career path of get a degree and get a job after you graduate. And the summer before our senior year of college, we were back in Washington, D.C. for summer vacation where I grew up. My buddy from high school and I, we were kind of sitting around, and his mom had this beat up cargo van, and she had a small furniture store that she would use it for deliveries. And she said, you know what, why don't you guys take this van, make some money this summer, haul people's junk away, move people's furniture. And then she looked at us and kind of joked, and she said, you guys will be like the college hunks who haul junk. And we laughed at first, and then we were like, well, that's got a catchy ring to it, not something that people typically associate with moving or hauling. So we just made computer printout flyers, put it around the neighborhood. People had a need for the service. They thought the name was catchy. Ended up going back to school our senior year and won a business plan competition out of about 150 entries that we submitted for the idea. So it gave us a little more confidence in the idea. And then when we graduated college, we actually got regular jobs for a brief period of time and said, you know what, let's make the business plan a year-round venture. And I always tell the story that, we were doing all the work ourselves in those early days. So we'd be driving the truck, answering the phone, hauling the junk. And we had the 800 number on the back of the truck routed to our cell phones. And so anytime somebody would call to complain about erratic driving, we'd actually be the ones in the driver's seat answering, apologizing on the other end, saying, we don't condone that type of driving in our company. Thank you for reporting it to us. We'll tell those guys to be safer on the road. So we always thought of ourselves as a bigger company than we really were. And I think that's what sort of propelled us to want to eventually learn how to work on the business, not just in it, because we knew if we were ever going to have another truck, let alone another location, we needed to have systems and processes. And so, today we've got over 130 franchises around the country, over 2,000 hunks, which, by the way, we say stands for honest, uniformed, nice, knowledgeable service. So we kind of broadened the definition. But it started with just a cargo van and a dream, really.
You talked a little bit about your core values. That's an important process for a coach to work on. So what do you consider your core values?
So for us, we have 4 core values as an organization. The first is building leaders. The second is always branding. The third is listen, fulfill, delight. And then the fourth is fun, enthusiastic team environment. And the idea with building leaders is that we're helping to empower our frontline staff to learn and grow. They're not just coming to move people's junk or haul people's, move people's furniture, but they're coming to learn and become better leaders. So that creates a sense of purpose and belonging. Always branding is really, we're a consumer brand. We're in a very competitive, crowded landscape. So how do we make ourselves known in a positive way at all times? The bright orange and green trucks, the catchy name, the interactions that we have. Listen, fulfill, delight. We're a service company. It's not recurring revenue, so we rely heavily on repeat and referral business. And then the fun, enthusiastic team environment. That's kind of our anti-work sucks mantra. That's how do we create a place that's fun, exciting, enthusiastic. We started when we were in college. That's oftentimes thought of as a fun time in people's lives. So how do we keep that spirit, that energy, that youthful vigor always permeating through the brand? So those are our 4 core values. We talk about them all the time. We share core value stories. We're a firm believer in Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, where he talks about, the real company values are ones that are lived, not just ones that are talked about. What mantra we say is it's not what's on the walls, but what's in the halls. So who we bring into the organization, who we keep within the organization, who we reward and recognize in the organization help determine the core values being lived. The values drive the culture, and the culture drives the behavior, which ultimately drives the results. So it all kind of fits together as a core or key pieces of puzzles. I think that creates a sustainable business.
So how do you keep, you've got hundreds of locations across the country. How do you maintain that core value or core values within the franchises?
It's something that we reiterate and emphasize and reinstill daily. We have a daily huddle at our corporate office where we talk about a different core value each day of the week. And then we train our franchise owners to run a similar huddle with their crew members each morning before they go out to provide the service. And the goal is that the core values are to be shared by everyone, not just with everyone. In an idealized, sort of an idealized way, I should be able to hail down any of our College H.U.N.K.S trucks around the country and ask the team members on that truck, hey, what are the College H.U.N.K.S core values? Or at least name me one of our 4 core values. And hopefully they should be able to do that. Of course, that's the aspiration, but the only way we get there is by constant reinforcement, constant repetition, talking about them, sharing stories. We give awards out for each of our core values at our annual conference. And so by keeping it top of mind, it does start to permeate throughout the entire organization. It starts with who we bring into the organization as our team members, who we bring into the organization as our franchise owners. Do those individuals align with our core values to begin with? If they do, it's a lot easier for them to then share those with the folks that they bring into the organization as their employees. And continue on throughout the organization as the identity of how we operate as College H.U.N.K.S. So it's very intentional. It does not happen overnight. It did not happen overnight, but it's repetition, reinforcement, sharing the stories, rewarding and recognizing, sort of manifestations of those values. And that's how it's continued to permeate our brand.
Have you actually gone out? You mentioned and asking truck drivers, your drivers, who are on to reiterate what your core values are.
Yeah, so I have flagged down a team at the gas station if I'm filling up on gas, or if I run into a guy with a College H.U.N.K.S shirt at at the grocery store, I'll ask him, hey, do you know any of the core values of the company? And of course, I'll be honest, it doesn't always come back word for word correct. But generally, I've been pleasantly surprised at the frontline team members knowing our core values, or at least giving a sample example of what those core values are. And so, we try to put it to the test at the end of the day. And we also can measure it through our customer experience. If our customers are sharing positive stories of how they've been treated or how their experience went, then generally it's a reflection of our values being lived.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of Sam Walden. He used to travel from place to place in his old pickup truck and go to just about every store in the chain over a period of a number of years. And he would ask the employees, not the management, employees, about their issues and problems. He would take care of them when he got back to corporate, because he believed that if the employees don't love the company, why should the customers?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the definition of building a company culture. And actually, I had a similar idea. I told my wife, hey, let's rent an RV, wrap it in College H.U.N.K.S orange and green, and go travel the country and stop in at each franchise and visit with them. She wasn't too keen on the idea. We have 3 young daughters, all under 5. So I think that'd be an interesting road trip, maybe a good reality TV series. But I think Sam Walton had the right idea, getting as close to the front lines as you can to understand what is the team seeing, hearing, experiencing, and then what can the brand do at the corporate level to help create that vibrant environment for the team to deliver the great experience for the customer.
Yeah. So tell me how you went from a small informal partnership, I guess, to this rapidly growing national franchise.
Well, I always describe ourselves as a 15-year overnight success. We had a lofty vision from the very beginning. We wanted to be a national brand. And franchising was something that people would actually ask us before we even knew what the word meant. They would say, hey, are you guys a franchise? Because, the brand was kind of catchy. It looked like more than just a couple local guys driving around. And so we started investigating what that meant. And the more we investigated it, the more we kind of became almost students of the idea of franchising. We joined the International Franchise Association. We started attracting mentors and advisors from that industry that could kind of take a look at our business and say, well, this is what you would need to do to be able to take a successful local operation and then replicate it in other markets. And it just seemed like a great way to be able to achieve our vision of eventually becoming a national brand through this franchise expansion model. So that was back in 2008. We had started the business just a couple of years prior to that. So we had a successful local operation. And then, by joining the International Franchise Association, by joining and hiring some consultants, we were able to position the brand to eventually be able to expand. And we probably added 5, 6 new locations a year in the early days, and just continuing to define and develop and fine tune the model, the technology, the marketing, the support structure. It was a steep learning curve. I thought it was going to be, when we first ventured down that path, maybe a more glamorized, easy growth strategy. But of course, nothing is easy. If it were, everybody would do it. But it was a long growth trajectory. It was a long learning curve, but it's been fantastic because we've been able to align ourselves with independent business owners, give individuals an opportunity to own their own business while also expanding the brand into other markets, which is really what franchising is set up to do.
What do you actually do?
Yeah, so at the service level, think of it as trucks and labor. So the trucks and labor primarily do 2 things. One, help people get rid of their unwanted items, furniture, appliances, clutter, garage, basement, attic cleanouts, estate cleanouts, hauling away people's unwanted items to be recycled, donated, or disposed of. And then number 2, we are your local full-service moving solution. So if you're moving across town or across state in any market, our crew will come in with a moving truck. We can pack you up, load up the truck, drive it to your new home or apartment or office, unload it and unpack you. So again, that's at the core surface level, it's trucks and labor. And the idea is to provide a more stress-free, trusting and caring solution to getting rid of your unwanted items or moving the stuff that you want to hold on to from point A to point B.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break here to do a couple commercial breaks. And when we come back, I'll continue the conversation with Nick Friedman, CEO and founder and president of H.U.N.K.S Hauling. I'm Allan Hirsch of Allan Hirsch Advisors, and this is AHA Business Podcast.
Hi, Rick Dempsey here. As a former Oriole and Series MVP, I know a lot about winning and championship teams. Today, I'm happy to tell you about my award-winning web design and internet marketing team, Adventure Web Interactive. For over 2 decades, many of Maryland's most successful firms have chosen Adventure Web as their strategic partner for web design and online marketing. I can tell you from using them personally, their search engine optimization and social media programs have saved their clients tens of thousands over the traditional pay-per-click digital agency. Visit AdventureWebInteractive.com and listen to what clients such as Hercules Fence, TriStar Electric, ABC Rental, Rhine Landscaping, Markdown's Office Furniture, and many more highly successful firms have to say. And don't forget to tell them Rick Dempsey sent you.
Strengthen, protect, and preserve your retirement nest egg. Scott Garceau here for the Stephen J. Sless Group, Baltimore's reverse mortgage specialist. Reverse mortgages have evolved to become a viable retirement tool. Enjoy retirement without monthly mortgage payments, improve cash flow, pay off debt, and stretch retirement savings. Stephen and his team can offer strategies to make housing wealth work for you. If you're 62 or older, learn if a reverse mortgage could help. Visit reversebaltimore.com.
An equal housing opportunity lender. This is not a commitment to lend. Stephen J. Sless, NMLS 298581. PRMI NMLS 3094.
Welcome back to today's podcast. My guest is Nick Friedman, CEO and founder and president of H.U.N.K.S Hauling. Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you. Good to be back.
One of the things you mentioned at the break, your colors are green and orange, but you're also a green company.
We are. We tell people the green represents our sort of environmentally friendly approaches to doing business. You know, as a junk removal company, someone or an entity that helps people get rid of their unwanted items, we have a great opportunity to find either a second home for those items through donations or a repurpose, reusing stream through recycling. So we actually recycle or donate over 70% of the items that we're hauling away for people. We have partnerships with Goodwill, Habitat Restore, some local thrift shops and nonprofits as well. And then, of course, accounts with all the local recycling facilities for metal, e-waste, cardboard, other streams of recycling to try to divert those items away from the landfill. So that's something that we try to maintain because of our socially conscious approach to doing business and stay true to as well, because it's a great opportunity as a junk hauling business to do that. We're also actually, we have a big facility in Tampa where we have a call center for booking appointments of all the franchisees. And I literally just reviewed a proposal yesterday to put solar panels on the roof of our building to try to, kind of reduce our carbon footprint at our corporate offices as well.
So it sounds like you get some good ideas that you've put together. But what is one mistake you made in growing your business? And what did you learn from it?
You know, I think for me, the biggest mistakes or examples of a mistake have been where I've gotten impatient as an entrepreneur. There's a level of impatience that's good, a sense of urgency that's good because it drives you to work hard and push. But there's also a level that's a little bit, cross the line where then all of a sudden I've tried to shortcut the success to kind of chase a different shiny idea to see if that'll produce success more quickly. And so it's a fine balance between testing new ideas versus chasing every squirrel that runs across my purview, thinking that that's going to help me be successful more quickly. And I'll give you an example. When we first started the business, we were looking for ways to drive the business more quickly. One of the things we said is, hey, we're hauling people's junk away. Maybe we can offer pressure washing at the same time that we haul their junk away. So we invested in all this bulky equipment that we really didn't have a great solution on how to, load or unload or transport on the trucks. And it slowed our guys down. It wasn't a bad idea, and maybe it could work long-term, but we hadn't even proven out the model for junk removal or even moving yet. And then we were trying to venture into a new space that was just going to require more complexity and more confusion, so it ended up costing us more money. We had to put that idea back on the shelf. So it was like every time we thought we could shortcut the success, it was actually more like 2 steps in the wrong direction. And I think being disciplined with focus was really the lesson that I learned out of that. Is if we can just go deeper versus trying to dig a bunch of little holes and be they say a mile wide and an inch deep on a bunch of different ideas, but go deeper on one core idea, which we started really doing on the trucks and the labor side of things. That's what ultimately produced kind of the exponential growth results, the snowball effect that we're now getting to enjoy the fruits of, several years later.
So what you learned here was to bring ideas slowly. So what are some of the ideas that you've brought that you've taken some time to generate that have improved your business?
Well, similar to not trying to chase an idea too quickly, moving services was actually not part of our core offering when we first started. We were College H.U.N.K.S hauling junk. We've since added the and moving. I know it's a mouthful, but when we first started, we were saying we're just going to haul people's junk away. We were turning away people that were asking us to move them because we knew that if we tried to do that, we were going to break people's furniture. We didn't have the right property protection. We were going to cause all sorts of upset customers and bad brand reputation. And it wasn't until we had really sort of fine-tuned and perfected the model of junk removal that we started kind of expanding our core competency into being able to offer the moving side of the business as well. And so easing into that over time has proven very successful for us, as opposed to trying to jump into it like we had tried to jump into the pressure washing concept.
So what did you learn by these two concepts coming together? One you continue to use, one you put on the back burner, which I assume you haven't gone back to. So what did you learn by this that you can use going forward?
I think the biggest lesson, again, is focus, discipline, and patience. I wanted everything to happen quickly. I had a sense of urgency, but in trying to shortcut the success, I ended up maybe cutting off my nose to spite my face in some instances with the business. So having a level of patience, a level of focus and discipline on perfecting the model before trying to go too far, too fast, again, is a fine, delicate balance. And so we've had other ideas kind of flash across the screen with us, and some we've had been able to, because of our experience, remind ourselves we don't have the time, the energy, or the resources or the money to pursue that right now. It's going to be a shiny distraction. And we've even asked our team to hold us accountable, my business partner and I, because sometimes, we come up with a lot of great ideas sometimes, and there's never a shortage of ideas. Like, again, I'll quote Jim Collins when he said, successful companies don't often go out of business for lack of opportunity. They go out of business for too many opportunities, chasing every opportunity and ending up spreading themselves too thin. So those early day experiences have kind of reminded us to stay focused, stay disciplined, ask our team to hold us as the entrepreneurial visionaries, to hold us accountable to that notion as well.
What is your long-term plan? Where do you think College H.U.N.K.S hauling junk is going to be in a year, 3 years, 5 years?
Well, we're probably, and we tell people this a lot, we're going to grow more in the next 3 years than we did the first 15. I mean, we've really reached a tipping point where we're adding more franchise owners. Our existing franchise owners are growing exponentially. So we want to continue to ride that wave and push that lever forward. Ideologically, we want to continue to become recognized as an iconic brand beyond just the fact that we haul people's stuff away and move their stuff, but we want people to appreciate and celebrate our brand for what we stand for, how we help our team members and our clients in the community. So that's kind of where, when we started our conversation today, we talked about what gets me out of bed in the morning. I want College H.U.N.K.S to be a respected, revered, celebrated, purpose-driven organization. And so, that's where we'd like to see the brand become in the next 3 to 5 years. I do think there will be an opportunity for us to slowly explore storage as well as long distance moving as the next kind of evolution of a brand extension. But again, not something we're going to jump into too quickly, not something that we want to chase after at the expense of our core offering that has not really fully matured even yet. So long-winded way of saying continued growth, continuing to live our values, and just continue to build the brand that has gotten us this far.
So why do you feel that your hauling and your moving company is superior to what else is in the marketplace?
Yeah, so we are in a crowded industry. Anybody can go out and get a truck, offer the service. There's even online on-demand platforms, Uber-like moving and hauling platforms. So I think the three areas that have been fundamental to our success, the differentiating factors for us, is number one, we still have a very memorable and unique brand with the name, the colors. We've made a very focused and intentional focus on the team member experience and the customer experience. And then our technology kind of weaves and integrates all three of those things. So our digital marketing is all about getting the brand out there, helping to be in a position for folks looking for the service. Our technology for the field helps to make the job easier for our hunks who are going out to do the work. And then for the customer, making the customer experience more streamlined and smooth and stress-free. And so by making a focus on our brand, our team member experience, and our customer experience, and leveraging technology to do that, I think that's been the core to our success and the key to our success over the years. There was a book we read early on called The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. And he says, if you're driving down a country road, you see a bunch of brown cows, you've seen it before, you just keep driving. But if there's a purple cow in that field, you're going to pull your car over, you're going to take a picture of it, share it on social media, talk about it to your friends and neighbors. And the idea is, how do you stand out? How do you be different, remarkable, unique? So we've done that on the surface with our name and our colors and trucks and everything, but I think we've done it more so on the customer experience side, which creates the repeat and the referral business and the reputation to stick around in a service industry as well.
What motivates you to have the business grow? I mean, why do you do it? Why do you do this? I mean, you could have started all kinds of businesses out of college.
Sure.
Why do you seem so passionate about it?
Well,
and what drives you?
Yeah, I think we kind of stumbled into it in college. I mean, I would have never thought to start a business like this if it weren't for my friend's mom, who had the beat up cargo van, to suggest we do this. And if you know, to her credit, if it wasn't for her, you know, calling us college hunks who haul junk, we probably wouldn't have had this catchy name either. So I will credit luck to us getting into this business. Once we started working on this business, it was like the world opened up as far as excitement, enthusiasm, and passion. I discovered that I was an entrepreneur. I didn't even know what that word meant until I told people what we were doing, and they said, "Oh, so you're an entrepreneur?" And I was like, "Well, I guess that means somebody who, you know, creates a business." You know, the creative aspect of it, seeing the impact that we could have on the customers, on our first folks who we hired. That was where I was getting my fulfillment. And so it wasn't that we were passionate about trucks, labor, hauling junk, moving furniture. I think we were passionate about the creative process. We were passionate about the impact that we could have. I'm passionate about the growth experience of the brand. And that continues to be sort of the driving force for me. You know, being a purpose-driven organization, being socially conscious, creating innovative, disruptive technology along the way. Those things are fun for me. It's like, you know, playing a sport. I don't have a lot of hobbies. And so this still kind of remains something I enjoy doing. And we get to see the points on the board as the business grows.
So may I ask, did you ever play any sports?
I did. I had hoop dreams as a kid. I played basketball and actually went to a small Division III college where I played as well. So I certainly was never going to play professionally. But the competitive experience and the teamwork environment, all of that, I've been able to apply some of those elements to our brand, which has been also fun to be a part of.
Yeah, and I had the same experience. I played lacrosse in college and beyond, and it's as a team sport. People think as individual, but as a team sport, you learn to work as a team, and you learn to work together. We actually won a national championship at the one point.
Wow.
But that's another story. So what's your management philosophy, your management style?
So at this point, my role in the company has evolved to what I would call a visionary role. And so I try to not mess up. We've got a lot of great, talented leaders in our organization. And I try to kind of take my hands off the steering wheel and delegate and trust and empower our team to lead in their respective roles. So I try to be a cheerleader. I try to hold people accountable to what's expected. I try to define the vision and the culture that I've always envisioned for our brand. and be available to provide the resources for folks to do their job or remove the barriers that are inhibiting them from doing their job. And if I can just do those things without doing any harm, then I feel like I've done the right thing as a leader, is provide the vision, provide the direction, provide the parameters for the culture, and then sort of get out of the way and let the subject matter experts execute on the business plan.
You sound like you've read a book on leadership. It sounds like you really know what you're doing, and it's great.
I appreciate that. I mean, I will say, I mean, I've always felt compelled that I have to be a student of entrepreneurship, and that brings, leadership. That brings, finance and accounting. Those brings all the sort of both technical as well as soft skills required of a leader, of an entrepreneur. Because these were things that I didn't necessarily learn in school or in college, but once we were in this realm of business ownership, I was like, okay, I've got to master some of these elements. So I was I'd go to conference. I was a conference junkie. I would have business coaches, read books, and hopefully it seems like a lot of that stuff has rubbed off on me, and maybe that's what you're hearing.
Well, it seems to have, and you seem to be building a very strong brand. And I wish you all the success in the world going forward with the continued growth of College H.U.N.K.S moving junk. In the meantime, I want to thank you for being on the show. How can listeners reach you or reach the franchisees?
Sure. So our website is collegehunks.com. Pretty easy to go to. You can also go to collegehunksfranchise.com if you're interested in learning about our franchise opportunities. And of course, our information is on there. NickFriedman.com is also a site folks can go to if they want to try to connect with me directly as well. But thank you, Allan, for what you're doing to help build leaders as well, and appreciate the opportunity to come on the show.
It's my pleasure, Nick, and thank you very much for being on the show. My guest next week will be Todd Marks. He's president of MindGrub. I'm Allan Hirsch of Allan Hirsch Advisors, your host. To reach me, call 443-977-4500 or visit my website, allanhirschadvisors.com. And you can listen to all the podcasts of past shows wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Allan Hirsch, and this has been AHA Business Podcast.